Welcome back to CBS News 24/7. I'm Reed Cowan. So after nearly a week of a multi-state manhunt, police caught and cuffed 26-year-old Luigi Mangione. You see him right there on the photo behind me. He is charged with the murder of UnitedHealthcare CEO Brian Thompson. We've got new police body camera showing the moments authorities confronted him in that McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania. One with a mask on, then he's told, take your mask off. He did. He was asked in that moment if he was recently in New York City. Police say with asking that question, he began to shake. New video to our monitors shows Mangione making a very fast entry headed towards a courthouse. He will now face extradition hearings to come to New York to face charges. So let's talk about the evidence that New York authorities will use to build their case against him. A ghost gun, fake IDs, a U.S. passport, and a 3-page written document expressing ill will toward corporate America. So let's go live to Anna Schecter, CBS News senior coordinating producer with the Crime and Public Safety Unit. Anna, they got him. In about 30 minutes, we understand his extradition hearing begins. What can we expect to happen in that extradition hearing?
Well, hey, Reed, we do expect him to be present there in court in Pennsylvania. No cameras in court, so we all won't see him, but he will be there. And a couple of things could happen. He could fight extradition to New York. That will kind of delay things a little bit. And if he doesn't, then things could move very, very quickly where the U.S. Marshals get involved and there's an arrangement for transportation to him. Remember, New York prosecutors have already filed their charges, murder charges, and so that is already in the works. So right now, at 1:30, we expect to hear how long that's going to take. It could be a matter of hours, or it could be many days, like up to a month or so. So let's see what happens. If he does fight it, one path would be Governor Kathy Hochul of New York would go to Governor Josh Shapiro of Pennsylvania with a formal request for extradition. So that could also speed things up. Of course, all eyes are on this case, and everybody wants to move this forward. Reed?
Right, that extradition hearing about to start in about 28 minutes. So let's talk about the evidence that New York prosecutors will use against him, most specifically that 3-page document. We understand it was handwritten in his own voice. How will they use that against him?
Well, in that document, police say that he attempted to justify his actions. He was railing against corporations and executives who rake in profits, all while the American public doesn't benefit. He actually explicitly said that the U.S. ranks 42nd in life expectancy around the world. So that was a point that he brought up. Police also are homing in on his positive review of Unabomber Ted Kaczynski's book online. They found that. We also found that yesterday. An immediate Google search pulled it up for us. But in police documents, they point to that as speaking to motive. So right now, police and the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, they are building their case as we are sitting here today, including all of that evidence, the clothing that was worn by the shooter that he had on his person, the ghost gun, the silencer. We still haven't nailed down whether that gun is actually the one that he used, but it does fire 9mm rounds, and he had 9mm rounds on him when he was apprehended at the McDonald's. And guess what? The bullets and shell casings found at the crime scene, 9mm. So there is a lot of evidence. Also, he had the same fake New Jersey driver's license. He presented that to the police who apprehended him, and that's the same fake license that he used to check into the hostel in New York City on the Upper West Side before he allegedly committed the crime. Reed?
And let's talk about that ghost gun. We know that he had some deep understanding of tech. Any chance that that ghost gun was made by a 3D printer? Because that could speak to a whole other conversation in our country.
Well, our sources say that the gun was 3D printed, as was the silencer. Both were printed on 3D printers. That's in the initial police report from the Altoona Police Department. The question is, did he do that himself? We know he graduated from an Ivy League school, Penn, in 4 years with not just a bachelor's but a master's in engineering. He also taught at Stanford, so he certainly was tech savvy. But it's interesting. One of the lines of questioning in the investigative process on motive, police have noted this anti-tech mentality that he might have shared with the Unabomber.
All right. Thank you so much. It's always fascinating to check in because we know you have the very latest information, Anna. We appreciate the conversation here on
Happy to be
CBS News
here.
24/7.